She stares at my teeth and licks her lips. Don't look at my teeth. Ew. What are we impregnating? Wait, what? Gentle words and rough sex. What? Hello, my name is Estrella, and today we're playing May I Take Your Order? Look at that tongue. It's kind of gross. I don't want to be close to it. Anyways, let's play. Alright, I've been filing out a few applications today, and this is the last one. I've been applying to work at restaurants all over. It might not seem glamorous, but I want to see how different places are run. If I want to open my own restaurant someday, it's crucial to see what does and does not work. My friend told me I should save my top pick for last, and I should really kick him for that. My hand's about to fall off. It's a pretty ritzy establishment, but comfortable. Fancy but not overpriced. Important clientele, but still kind and inclusive. If you can't make connections here, you're dead. Financially speaking. And the food, remarkable. I've never heard of anyone ever having a bad meal there. I gotta know how they accomplished so much. They made a deal with the devil. It's like, so I try not to be too nervous and fill this out like it's any other application. My name is Estrella, but you could just call me Reap. There we go, Reap. I fill in my address and try not to despair over my handwriting. My handwriting is actually kind of bad. Before getting to the personal sections, gender is I am a woman. And I finish filling out the form. I cap the pen and yeah, that's all you need to do in the form. Just write your gender and your name. I capped the pen and leaned back on my chair. Man, it's nice to be done. ... Well, except for heading outside and turning them all in. One at a time. Better get to it. Alrighty. 2 weeks later, and I'm waist deep in my first Saturday shift at the restaurant. Busy doesn't even begin to describe it. After 7 hours of the weekend rush, I'm ready to go home. I stopped off at table 6 and go through the motions. Thank you for dining with us, sir. My name is Reap, and I'll be your server this evening. He smiled at me. Pleasure to meet you, Miss Reap. Have you dined with us before, sir? Yes, indeed. I'm quite happy to be back. Just you this evening, sir? No, my girlfriend will be here shortly. I'll just have a cup of coffee while I wait for her. I'll go get that right away then. No rush. Getting that coffee? Countless families and couples have come and gone today, but for the past hour, that one guy's been clogging up table 6. Are you doing all right, sir? He checks his watch again. Yes, I mistook the time. She'll be here any second. He's been saying that for the past 45 minutes. Oh no, did you get stood up, sir? I apologize for you. I tell him to pack it up and leave, but he doesn't have that look I'd expect for someone in his position. There's anxiety, but only a little bit, and there's no disappointment. Not a shred of doubt in his eyes. He really thinks... Excuse me. He looks up at me. It seems he's come to some sort of decision. Thank goodness. But this is a restaurant with crayons, correct? Don't tell me you want the freaking kids' toys. Yes, sir. We have those for kids. Excellent. The strings of ferocity entered his eyes, one that doesn't quite pair naturally with crayons. One please, and red if you got it. Yeah, sure. I'm not about to argue with a customer, so I head to the front. It's not exactly usual that the guy has been sitting here for half an hour with no phone. I'm caught between pity and irritation and hope for the umpteenth time that he has enough empathy to tip well on the single cup of coffee he's been nursing. There's a small tin with several crayons. We try to keep fresh ones ready. I grabbed. Yeah, just follow what the dude requested. Grab the red one. I snatched up a red crayon. No sense being mean to him. He may be weird, but he's probably having a bad night too. I bring the crayon back over to him and handed it over. Thank you, Miss Reap. It's no big deal. Hey, are you okay? I saw you don't have a cell phone, but you could call your girlfriend and... What the? No warning, no nothing. He knocked everything off the table and climbs right on. What? Sir? Please get down. What are you doing? His dipped hand scrawls a wide circle, then another, then sections off areas, slicing as though the crayons were a knife. He filled it with symbols. They look almost like zodiac signs. I am not reading this ritual stuff, so what? Sir, what the frick are you doing? It's like I stood up too fast. There's a rush to my head. There's a pressure, like my ears are going to pop. Ah, owie. I realized that it was the wrong size too. Anyways, crack. The tablecloth ripped and there's a spray of sweet-smelling fluid. Ew. I lap away from the table as something burst out. Ah, what the frick is that? What is that thing? What is this abomination? You have to go to the front and ask for a host to sit you down. You can't just barge in here. Wet spiked appendages are flaring all over, slapping and snacking their way over the window and doors. They are fleshy but soft, too soft, and they mush and disfigure as they slam against everything in sight. One smacks the hat off another diner, who continues to eat her meal. You're just not gonna question what's going on? Fine. Unfazed. Nobody screaming. Why? And nobody noticed me on the ground, arms raised to protect my face and throat too tight to scream again. But that's okay. That thing is screaming enough for the entire restaurant. It's letting out a dual-toned screech, high and low, but I can't discern one's throat, let alone two. Crayons thrown to the floor, the stood-up guy and worst diner ever started to call out at it. Sweetie, what? For goodness sake, put your body on. We're in a nice restaurant. It screeches and roars back at him. I know, but... He waves a bundle of clothes at it. I brought you some clothing, and it's super comfy. It slurps up the bundle of fabric, and the creature bubbles and drews back in on itself, twisting until... What is going on? Dude, who the frick did you brought in here? Hey, yo. Hello. I'm kidding. I emerge. You're here. You had me worried, so I figured I'd help break the barrier down a bit. Talepora? Is it Talepora? I don't know how to pronounce names. You have no idea how good it is to see you. When he says that word, my ears finally pop and my teeth gritted. It's a bad word. It's not a curse word, per se. Not as much as a word you wouldn't say in front of your boss. It feels like the wrong answer in a class or meeting. That moment when everyone turns and looks at you, and you just want to sink through the floor. I just want to sink through the floor. I want to very quietly go get my coat and change my name and move to wherever town is on the exact opposite point of the globe from where I am currently standing. You informed me that the barrier was to be frail in this portion of your world. I will hold you responsible for the trouble. He's beaming at the thing that came out of the hole, but I can't look at it. It hurts to roll my eyeballs towards it like I'm dehydrated. Why? It's because you don't know which eye to focus on? Focus on these two. When I close my eyes, the dark behind my eyelids is too cold and too soft. Huh. There are tears running down my cheeks. I hadn't noticed. The guy, Henrik, beams and gestured towards the gaggle of eyes and puffy wool. This is my girlfriend, Talepara. I think that's how you pronounce it, I don't know. Impudent microbe. I may choose to craft for myself form of a creator, a birthing one. What? But I am capable of far greater creations than your prepubescent females. And far more erroneously, your inflated ego thinks I would deign to refer to you as any form of companion. Okay. Her words wash over him like a gentle breeze. It looks like she could rip his face off, but her roars just make his eyes beam with joy. Are you okay, sir? We've been dating for about 400 years now. How old are you? And though the long distance thing is a bit of an annoyance, we make it work. The moment I finally devise an effective method of accomplishing your demise, I will rip your soul from your ever-regenerating body and chew it into a gruel. He sits down at the... So wait, a homie can regenerate? Is that what you're getting at? So okay. He sits down at the all but destroy table and picks up his menu. But until that beautiful day when I can be with you forever, you're going to need to eat something else. Talepora stops. She looks at me, and I bounce between eyes, trying to make contact with one that doesn't stare down into my deepest inadequacy. There is human fuel here. I nod. Her mouth breaks open into a smile. Excellent. You're spared from punishment, Henrik, if only for a moment. She sits down, but not on a chair. Dozens of her tentacles are still present throughout the entire room. Spikes drive deep into the surface, blocking all the exits. Well, that's fun. She settles into one of the squishy appendages, looking pleased. So then, maybe we should order an appetizer. It's not that I can't believe that this is happening. I have an open mind. But as far as sudden supernatural shifts to my life, I was really hoping for wizard school. Or just a plain old haunting. Some ghosts are pretty cool, right? At least with a zombie or something, I'd know the rules here. What are the rules with this thing? Do I throw rice on the ground to stall her? Will she attack me if I touch her with iron? I'd listen to my gut, but I can't make out anything but general foreboding. Demon? You summon demons, so that fits. But I don't know, something doesn't seem quite right about that. Maybe she's excuse me? Oh, I can barely think, but I can at least fall back on one set of rules. I struggle to stutter out the reply. Would you like to start off with the super salad today? The man grinned and gave an eager nod. Could I please get the blue cheese salad? And for my sweetie? The telepora rolled her eyes and her teeth flashed as she cuts in. Henrik, I've been on enough of these Shane dates to know that offering for your companion is rude. His face falls. But it's been ages since you've eaten any food. You're chewing on the fork right now. She gives him a glare and slowly places the slightly bent cutlery back down on the table. Fine. But before he could say another word, she makes her move. I don't want your advice, though. I want the young human to choose for me. Oh no. He sighs annoyed, but he checks himself before looking at me. I think he knows that she's putting me on the spot. I can appreciate that he's trying to look out for me. I mean, I appreciate it more than he could have not summoned some kind of eldritch thing during an already busy Saturday night. Or at all. I eased my throat open enough to squeak out, oh shoot! You want to start off with, how about lamb? Do you like lamb? This doesn't seem to mean much of anything to her. Great. And what would you like for your entry? She slams a fist down on the table. My stomach lurches. First, bring me the matter. This physical form requires fuel to sustain itself. I turn on my heels and fly out of there. An excuse to leave. If there are any kindly extra-dimensional beings looking down on me right now, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. I rushed into the kitchen. Back in the kitchen, everyone's still bustling about. Other servers are calling in their orders. The ambitious cooks are working. The slightly less ambitious cooks are cracking jokes with each other. They're as oblivious as the customers out front. I can see my manager discussing some menu changes with the head chef. Hey, does anyone else see what's going on out there? But no one turns to look at me. Hey, I'm serious. What the heck is going on? Are they ignoring me? Do you expect me to just come back here and bring this order like nothing's wrong? I take a sarcastic tone. Yeah, we got a blue cheese and a chili for table 6, just another usual night, right? Without warning, a tray with the orders put down on the counter next to me. But other than that, there's no hint of a glance, no guilty looks. Hey! Nobody even flinches. Fine. Looks like I'm on my own. And did I tell you how lovely your eyes are this evening, sorry. For your ever-infusive sewer pipe of compliments spring something worthwhile. I made most of them myself, but the eyes in the center of my head was my reference object. I couldn't even tell the difference. Your anatomy has gotten so much better since the last decade. It is easier when I have a fresh supply of studied material. So I suppose I could remain here long enough to consume some matter. Let no sentient being claim that I do not repay my debts. Well, that's just one of the perks of the job. Teachers can bring home knowledge. Cooks can bring home food. And surgeons can bring spare body parts back to their girlfriends. I can say with relative certainty that this isn't how it works. If I ever find out this man's last name, I'm never going to his hospital. I serve Teleparo her chili, trying not to get too close. Please be careful, it's very hot. Remember, sweetie, that too much heat can injure— Silence, meat garden. I know what to do with heat sources. She flings the scowling liquid across the table and it hits Henrik square in the chest. He rushes out to the bathrooms, face red from pain. We don't serve our soup at a heat that could do permanent damage, but that still has to hurt. She closed most of her eyes and inhaled a deep breath, satisfied. When she speaks again, her rough voice has a tranquil tone. Clean it up, human. This is an establishment with standards, is it not? Well, it was, I muttered. The elegant charm might be a bit altered by the sudden presence of gigantic tentacles. She snuggles down in her seat. This is a gift for your owners. This is a sliver of my true form. Well, it's Lovely. Sorry that you didn't like the chili.
Apologies unnecessary, human. I enjoy that immensely.
She sniffed the air.
And it smells nice as well.
She dabbed a little of the meat on her neck. What?
This body has concentrated blood flowing around the throat and wrists. These pulses point heat and disperse spray molecules of matter, allowing humans to perceive them with their noses.
I said that a little weirdly. She seems quite pleased with this luxury. She wraps the scarf around herself. Now that I think about it, the clothing Henrik brought for her is all very heavy. A maxi skirt, a thick sweater, and a blanket scarf. The way you're clutching that scarf, are you cold?
You may not have my scarf. It retains my heat. I will continue to generate and retain heat, and it will belong to me, not you.
Okay, I take a step back. No, that's all your heat, fair and square. She growls. Happily?
Yes, all mine. Henrik will be procuring more matter this evening, which will continue to power this form. Physical exertion is a luxury, the caloric energy necessary to move, but a digit.
She left one of her own claws.
Is precious. I have gone for thousands of years, lying in wait for foolish summoners to tear open rifts and let in the good heat from your world.
Is your world like really cold? Telepora leans down on the table and the edge of her scarf trails into her chili, or at least what's left of it. Is it selfish to be happy that she's disarmed now? I look at the still present tentacles and recalculated that statement. She at least can't harm me with soup, and that's something.
So, human, how do you enjoy generating your own heat?
It's good. I'd rather just turn on the heater though. It's not great really. Have you ever gotten sweaty? I like it. Physical activity is fun. Have you ever gotten sweaty? It's not fun if I'm being honest. I fan my collar a little. I could really use a cold drink right now. She gives a quizzical look.
Are you implying that at times you generate too much heat?
I nod. In the summer when the sun gets closer, everything gets hot and gross. Humans can get so warm they die. Oh my, look at that face. Her eyes open wide, both of them, all of them.
Do you catch fire and burn?
No, it's not like getting burned. It's just too much heat for the whole system, I think.
And you cannot simply uncover yourselves and release that heat into the vacuum of space?
I shake my head. I mean, unless we're talking about stripping down our clothes, but even then, it's still pretty hot. No, ma'am, the vacuum of space is too far away, and in the summer, we're surrounded by too much heat.
Ha, your creator fails to take this season into account. Tell her to mind that on the next draft.
I assured her I will, and out of the corner of my eye, I see Henrik returning. You still have a stain, though. And Henrik returns. Getting along well?
As well as might be expected.
Still, thank you for keeping her company. We'll eat our appetizers, and she shakes her head.
I'm finished with mine.
He laughs. Of course. How could I forget? So then, would you like to move on to the main course now?
Huh?
The next part of the meal.
Ah, yes, with the large portions.
Henrik points to her menu. So, what were you thinking about? I always like steak, but I admit that I was kind of thinking about splurging on the...
Hey, human reap.
I snapped to attention. Yes, ma'am.
Choose. Do it properly and wisely, or else I will need to consume something else for my main course.
She's staring me right in the eyes, and her gaze lingers on my mouth. Why are you looking at my mouth? She stares at my teeth and licks her lips. Don't look at my teeth. Ew. I want to keep my mouth shut. Could she eat my teeth? Well, I think you would enjoy... We have a beautiful porthouse steak. We have live lobsters here. I recommend the squid ink pasta. What? Do you want live lobsters? Ooh, look at them eyes though. Henrik gives a bit of a nod. That's my order too. It's been a while, but it is a special night.
What? At what point did humans discover the joy of consuming live creatures?
Wait, she doesn't think I'll serve it to her while it's still... No, sweetie, I'm afraid that most of us are still a touch prudish about that sort of things. But they have a tank here, so the lobsters is fresh.
Nothing is as fresh as squeezing the life from the creature with your jaws. Feeling it writhe and struggle in a fruitless attempt to stave off the icy curtains of death.
She looks straight at my throat. Don't look at my throat. 2 lobster dinner coming right up, and I run away. I rush away as quickly as I can. Goodbye. I try to convince the chef to let me serve 1 lobster live. I feel downright ghoulish, but between me and a crustacean, I'm going to defend myself every time. But her reaction is the same as the last time. She prepared the dishes as usual and hands them off to me, never making eye contact and reacting to anything I say. I got your stuff.
What is this?
She lifts up the extra utensil. It's the lobster cracker. You use that to crack open the shell.
This is a fair idea, but it's such a waste, Reap. to use this on a deceased creature.
Well, if food is dead, isn't it easier to consume? She waves a claw at me.
Not if you have to crack it open anyways.
Henrik is already digging the meat out for his. I like it. It's soothing to have a little tactile activity as part of your meal. Telepora's claws slipped on the lobster's cracks.
Meat Shield, how are you employing your tool?
Well, you put either ends of the metal bit over.
Raise it up and demonstrate.
He holds the lobster cracker and one leg up, leaning forward, so they're close enough for her to get a good look. You have multiple eyes, can't you just look with one of them? She holds her up, pantomiming his actions. Then properly grabs one of his hands, or wait, no, wrapping the cracker around his pointing finger and wraps it tightly. Oh, his finger juts out at an odd angle, and blood drips onto the torn tablecloth. She crackles and throws the metal tool at his head. You're so mean.
Fool, I can easily employ such a simple item.
Why are you blushing? He's leaning away from his injured hand, the other on his face. Right, you are. You got me. He sure does look embarrassed. It's really hard to tell through the pain. I mean, this is an expression of pain on his face, right? I guess she got him? He breathes heavily, trying to get himself under control. As though to prove a point, he goes right back to eating dinner, as though nothing were wrong. So, before I go, is there anything else you'd like? Is the food, powering your true form enough?
Silly Reap, when my true form, I do not consume human fuel.
Huh?
This human template, what did you call it?
Henrik caught mid-bite and he covers his mouth to respond. Human sona... what?
A human sona. It consumes calories, inhales oxygen, excretes feces.
Ew.
All the same as you yourself, I assume.
I never expected to have a restaurant patron ask if I breathe and poop, but here we are.
But my true form requires something much more deeply sustaining.
Better not be my soul. She stares me down. She looks at my teeth again. Don't look at my teeth! She looks me in the eyes. She holds the eye contact and waits. I try not to squirm, but my moxie is adequate for the situation. She waits. And then laughs. I can breathe again.
Delicious, a light dusting of fear, nothing too overwhelming.
Oh, you feed off of fear, you say? Well, good for you. I'm scared of everything. If that doesn't strike her as much fear, please let me never ever learn what does. So, you eat fear then?
It falls under my purview.
Suffering. Sweetie's true form eats concepts, and she built her human sona to have quite the taste for them too. Any form of important emotions can sustain her, but she's picky.
I am not. Suffering is the only thing worth eating. Eating anything else would be beneath me.
It's okay, whatever you eat. I love you just the way you are. Isn't that sweet?
And I would like you much better with several more stab wounds to the head.
Anytime, sweetie. Ugh, are you a masochist or something? Though I managed to sneak away for the next 15 minutes, I know that I'll eventually have to return for the check. I try to strike up a conversation with the line cooks again. So, how do you guys feel about the recent tentacle invasions? Of course, nobody responds. Yeah, it's hard to really put it into words, huh? No response. Dishes clicked. I guess the spooky atmosphere has a certain charm, but I don't think it'll catch on with the baby boomers. Conversational wisdom say that they like elegance and rustic charm, and Midwestern moms are not into dripping fluids, you don't say. I mean, as a general group, I don't want to assume individuals' taste. This is getting boring quickly, so after the appropriate waiting period, I head back over. Are you guys ready to pay? So thank you for dining with us tonight. I did it. I made it through the evening. Please tell me I don't die by the end of this. I'm tempted to not even give them a check and just to rush them right out the door. But I refuse to slip up now. It's been a delight getting to know the both of you. How kind of you. You know, I was planning on heading out, but you know what?
I couldn't care less if I attempted. And I am very powerful. I am capable of caring far less than most humans could in their most apathetic dreams.
Let's do dessert. Seriously? Oh, okay. I look from a smiling face to Telepora's cruel one. I know how this goes. Let's make a recommendation. I recommend our chocolate torte for the delightful couple. Do you feel like drinking? I sure do. Frick it. Caution to the window. Bananas Foster flambe. What? You know what? Frick it. Yeah, caution in the window. Do you want that? Is my professionalism slipping? Must be. What are we impregnating? Wait, what?
What are we impregnating?
Sweetie, it's a figure of speech.
I don't have that function this time around.
What? Sweetie, I think she's just tired. That's okay. I think if I want this to be a truly satisfying night for our esteemed void goddess, then she's going to enjoy this dessert. Or at least how we cook it.
What is this blathering about?
But I can tell I've got her hooked. We cook it tableside with a huge flame. And there it is. I'm not so sure about this. Looks like he's picking up on the pattern too. Oh, I insist. I don't even need to write this one down. One flaming dessert for table 6. I scrambled about the kitchen, grabbing everything I need. Am I clear to do this? Hell no. 2 weeks is not long enough to have a permission to set things on fire next to the diners. But tonight's special, isn't it? Homie's gonna get a calm fire. Sorry, sir. But, you know, you deserve this for making me go through this stuff. I wheel the cart over. I take my time preparing to light it on fire. So, congrats on getting out of, what did you call it? The cold place?
The void.
Void, God, what is it like in there?
Dark, cold, mostly barren. Locked from something approaching an eternity with nothing but your own thoughts. Unless one can become creative. I do my best to make creatures to fill it, but it is a vast expanse. Literally endlessly big, but with nothing in it.
Yeah, I caught part of your conversation before. You made your body right.
Indeed. When rifts become open, I am able to seize not only heat, but stray matter. I model the majority of my creatures after your carbon-based life forms, but modifications must be made.
I'll bet if the void doesn't have heat or any of its own matter, you'd need to make creatures that don't eat or breathe, right?
Good human. I modeled most of them after myself.
And you eat concepts?
Yes. After billions and billions of years, I have evolved over 1 million species of void creatures. Nearly all of them feed, as I do, on the concept of suffering.
So it's an endless barren place with no light, no heat, where the only thing that exists. Just go around preying on each other's suffering all the time.
Yes! It is not marvelous. And someday, human reap, there will be a rift large enough that it is not tiny scraps and stray humans which fall through, but your entire plane of existence.
Okay.
You will enjoy it.
I'm sure I will. Wouldn't I hate it? I got distracted there for a bit, but I grabbed the rum. Can't caramelize it right without a pretty flame. I mean, I don't enjoy suffering. You'll be surprised with what humans can get used to.
I used the wrong English word. A closer translation might be resignation. You would become resigned to an existence saturated with pain. Enjoy isn't the correct term, unless you're a disgusting cluster of miswired brain signals.
Love you too, sweetie, so you are a masochist.
I know what you're doing, Henrik.
Huh?
You think if you can keep delaying me with fancy dinners, stolen body parts, gentle words, and
rough sex. What? Oh, can we not talk about our sex life in public? Like, thank you. Okay. She places a hand on his arm.
That you could stop me? You are as always disgusting, but an appealing opponent.
Look out. And I light it up. The flames shine in her eyes, and I can feel the heat coming off of it. I should probably be keeping a close eye on it to make sure it's cooking properly. But looking over at Henrik and Talipora, they're holding hands. So simply and happily. She's gripping his hand tightly from joy. Oh no. And then she jerks him across the table. Straight onto the flaming cart. Oh no. Now that burns, that one that could cause permanent damage. Though he may be lucky that that's the worst thing that could happen to him tonight. He executes a perfect stop, drops and rolls, and soon the flames are out. Ugh. Though he's far from unscathed.
Human, this was a fantastic dinner. Bring us a statement so that we might repay you for your noble worthship and gifts.
I salute and wield what remains of the upturned cart away. It's not long before I return with the bill in hand. He takes the check. He seems to do a bit of calculations in his head, and lays down some cash.
Well, this evening wasn't a complete waste of time and effort. Organ ravioli.
Henrik looks up at her.
You may have one short, friendly embrace.
He jumps to his feet, arms wrapped open to hug her, and one of her tentacles slammed into him, throwing his body across the room. He slams into the wall and ragdolls to the ground.
Hug transaction completed.
Oh no, did you just kill him? She heaves a sigh.
Would I were so lucky. No, human, I have merely rendered him unconscious.
That's good.
By severe cranial.
Him more... that thing. That's bad.
He'll sleep it off. I've ripped off his limbs before. He could take it.
She looks almost fond. She gets up, walks over to him, and grabs him by the foot.
I suppose it is time to return him to his residence.
She perks up.
Or I could abandon his body in the trash unit. Perhaps nobody will find him, and he will be placed inside a trash compactor.
As she turns to drag him away, I ask, Miss Telepora? She turns quizzically.
Human, I am departing. You've made it through this evening unscathed. You have little to no ability to comprehend how fortunate that makes you, but I suggest you make an attempt.
I cleared my throat. I think I'm trapped. I gestured around the restaurant.
Ah, yes. I have forgotten. Your world usually has even more light, does it not?
She shrugs.
Well, I have no hand in this.
And with that, she waves aside a tentacle and marches through the front door. Henrik's head thud against the ground as she walks down the staircase and out of sight. When I hear the front door close... oh, thank goodness. Another server bumps me in the shoulder, stepping past. They give me a dirty... how dare you? They give me a dirty look and keep heading their way. Yeah, how dare you? Just like that, I'm back. I get moving, clearing the tables, scooping up the check. I check the tip. 40%! It might not clear emotional distress, but I'll cap off the shift well. This was quite the experience, but for my own safety, I think I'm going to skip the 2 weeks notice. I came here to learn something new, and I'd say that the goal was more than accomplished. Wow. That was an experience, to say the least. Ending for a goodbye. Well, I'm assuming that's the goodest ending, unless we could steal the guy's girl, but I don't think that's possible. I hope you enjoyed. I better not catch you dying on me or you'll become someone's meal. And goodbye.